kind of like non-canonical, if you will, or outside of the main story backup is secrets.
And Dan, I'm going to stop you right there because there is something in the notes here that I'll let you say, but it is. I had not thought about it until I just saw it in your notes, and it's a terrifying thought to me about what the implications of this story and creative team. So why don't you take it away?
Okay, well, let me just say the creative team. It's Joe Kelly and Juan Ferreyra, who I think we both have liked their work independently. I don't know if they've worked together before. I love, I've confessed my love for Rage of the Rhino on our podcast more times than I could list on my fingers right now.
But I will add to that I don't know if Joe Kelly as a writer has quite reached those highs on Spider-Man since Rage of the Rhino.
I think you're being charitable by suggesting that that's even a question.
Right.
Because I think he has been in charge of some of the worst Spider-Man stories in the time after Rage of the Rhino. And this one I would put in that camp, which is this is a pretty okay, I guess, Spider-Man story. My thing with Joe Kelly, and I kind of died on a hill over issues 20 and 21, I think it was, of the current run that we're on, which is to say, let's be charitable about his writing here. It's confusing, but we know what he was getting at. But Joe Kelly, man, I read his writing now, and I don't know what he thinks he's communicating. This was nonsense to me. I read this thing 3 times, and I don't think I'm any closer to understanding what was going on in this Doctor Strange Peter team-up. If that's even what you want to call it. It's like a house call from Peter, and then he's just told, get out of here, and that's the story. Okay, Mark, here is the speculation that had you shaking in your boots.
Yeah.
This thing ends and it says, the end for now, or some other cryptic thing. And, man, we have gotten a lot of Spider-Man miniseries over the past couple years, and we know about a bunch that are coming down the pike. And I feel like this line is pretty bloated, just generally. And maybe one more miniseries is not going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But I do think that Juan Ferreyra has done enough, and I like his stuff a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's a very specific vein, but I like his stuff a lot. I think he's done enough miniseries now that, he's ready to be elevated up to, ASM artist. Whether it's for a story or a series of stories, I don't know that his brand could sustain the entire line. It's very specific in what we've seen him do. But Marvel is definitely elevating him as an artist. So the thing that made my brain go, I'll say this. I have some inside knowledge that the Zeb Wells run is coming to an end fairly shortly. Okay? But we don't know who's coming next. Is it Joe Kelly and Juan Ferreyra taking over the book? Mark, your reaction.
Yeah, I hope not, man. I know this is wishful thinking, but I would really love as fresh of a voice as possible for this book once we move on from Zeb Wells. As much as I've enjoyed a lot of aspects of the Wells run, I have had issues with aspects of it, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're still kind of playing the hits from Brand New Day era, and I'm ready to move on from Brand New Day. Let's get some new blood in here. From a scripting standpoint, and Joe Kelly would be the opposite of that. I also just, like I said earlier, I have not really dug a lot of his stuff. I keep there are 2 things I really, really like related to Spider-Man by Joe Kelly. One is the Rage of the Rhino. The other is the Deadpool issue where Deadpool inceptions himself back into the Romita era as Peter, and I feel like you're just chasing that dragon, hoping you're going to get those stories again with him, because you haven't. Spider-Man Deadpool was a major bummer to me. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm not happy about that. So I hope you're wrong.
you're giving it some credit, and let me my thought about this, and let me tell you why I thought this too. Is we've got issue 1000 coming up, right? And like we know that they love dipping back into like writers that they feel like they can trust to like output content.
Right.
And I think whatever quality you think about Kelly, he puts out a lot of books, like, and they can rely on him not only to like have written Amazing Spider-Man before, but like he could get them over that line without like them doing a big risk on it. And they're gunning for 1,000. And man, Joe Kelly writing issue 1,000 of Spider-Man would be, to me, really disappointing.
Yeah.
I want that new voice too. Until this week, I half expected Dan Slott to come back on the book, to be honest, because Superior is ending and there's no announcement of him like launching a new Spider-Man thing, and I'm like, man, the timing on that is right up against Wells' stuff, you know, like. But then I saw this and I was like, I don't know where this story is coming back, and man, do I not want what my brain yelled at me when I read this. So
yeah. Thanks, Dan, for ruining my Sunday.
Yeah, let this be a shout into the wind. Do not make Joe Kelly the lead writer on Amazing Spider-Man. I would not dig that.